Hello friends, I am Arpit and I am here with today's analysis. Today is 5th of December and we are going to deal with two very important topics which are in news. The first topic, which all of us might be seeing on the social media as well as on the electronic media, is this cyclone Michong. Cyclone Michong is going to make a landfall in the Andhra Pradesh Tamil Nadu region today. So this is a cyclone which has been originated in the Bay of Bengal region. Bay of Bengal is part of the Indian Ocean region, and you know the cyclones originated over here, travel from east to west because of the easterly. So this cyclone is also traveling from east to west, and it is today expected to make a landfall. So in this topic, we will study you know the basic details of cyclones, how the naming of cyclones is done. This name Michong has been given by Myanmar. It means strength and resilience. But how does this naming happen? Which bodies are responsible for it? UPSC has asked a question on this. And not, I would say, so many years ago, very recently, it has asked a question on this in mains. So we should be aware about these things. The second topic which we are going to cover today is Codex Alimentarius Commission, CAC. This Codex Alimentarius Commission is responsible for setting food standards globally. Like in India, there is an organization known as FSSAI, Food Safety and Security Standards Authority of India. Something like this is the full form of it. At the global level, it is Codex Alimentarius Commission. Why was it in news? It was in news because this Codex Alimentarius Commission has praised India's efforts to standardize millets. As we all know that 2023, which is going to end, we are in the last month of 2023, has been declared as the International Year of Millets. And this was declared on the proposal kept by India. Millets has its own significance, like millets can grow in less water. Millets require very less water. In semi-arid regions, it can grow. So all these things make millets, an apt, I would say, food grain in these times of climate change and global warming. Just the requirement is awareness among the people is less about millets. So the basic aim of International Year of Millets was to generate awareness about millets, that millets are also an alternate food which you can consider apart from wheat and rice. Rice requires a lot of, I would say, water. It is a water intensive crop. Wheat requires adept temperatures, means it grows in largely cold temperatures. And due to global warming, severe heat waves and all are happening, due to which wheat productivity has become low in the past few years. I would say 2021, 22, 23, we had heat waves. So due to which wheat productivity was less in India. So both these staple food crops, that is rice and wheat, have been impacted due to climate change. Although the impact is not so high, but yes, it has begun. And that is why our focus should be on alternates, because we have to feed ourselves, we have to fill our tummies. And millets, why not millets can be considered? The need is just that people generate demand for it, means people consume it more and more. They are very nutritious also. And for that purpose, International Year of Millets was kept. Now India has set global standards, or India has standardized, I would say, millets in its territory, which has been praised by Codex Alimentarius Commission. And Codex Alimentarius Commission also plans to, bring out global standards for all the millets. It has brought out global standards for a few millets, but yes, it plans to bring out global standards for all the millets in line of India. That is why it was in news. So we will be covering these two topics. Let's get started with the first topic, that is Cyclone Michong. The Cyclone Michong actually has been developed in the Bay of Bengal region, as we can see here. and it is expected to make landfall over here somewhere in Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu region. Okay. And this was, this landfall is expected today, 5th of December, sometime by afternoon. Since I'm doing this in the morning today, so by afternoon it will be making a landfall. So if you're watching this video after the landfall, then consider the landfall has been done. But since I'm doing it in the morning, recording it in the morning, so it is expected to make landfall. I would say this. Take a now, one notable thing about this cyclone Michong is that cyclone Michong is the fourth tropical cyclone of the year over Bay of Bengal. Now, we have been talking about climate induced disasters. These climate induced disasters are basically due to climate change. And can we call cyclones disasters due to climate change? Yes, definitely we can call them, because the primary condition for cyclones to get formed is basically temperatures. Sea surface temperatures should be above 27 degrees Celsius. So this 27 degrees Celsius should be the minimum sea temperature. And during these, I would say, times of global warming, climate change, achieving this much temperature is not a big deal. It is achieved frequently. And since it is achieved frequently, this high temperature creates a low pressure. Low pressure, when it is surrounded by high pressure, so the winds from high pressure area, they gush into the low pressure area, forming cyclones. That is why cyclones can be attributed as climate induced disaster. Can all cyclones be attributed as climate induced disasters? Not exactly per se, but yes, the frequency of cyclones has increased since the past few years. This is what we can notice. Likewise, here we can see that in this Bay of Bengal region only, in this year, that is 2023, it is the fourth cyclone. And earlier, two cyclones, one cyclone, maximum three cyclone used to come. But now four cyclones are coming. It can increase further also. So this connectivity we will have to establish between various concepts. A classic example of climate-induced disaster, that is cyclone. Why? Because sea surface temperatures minimum 27 degrees Celsius are required, and they are achieved. Now, formation of cyclones. So first of all, we should know that cyclones are of two types. First is tropical cyclone, and the second is extratropical cyclone. Tropical cyclones happen in the tropics. Tropics, this is the Earth, the equator, Tropic of Cancer, Tropic of Capricorn. So any cyclone happening here is called as tropical cyclone. Any cyclone happening beyond the tropics over here or here can be referred to as extratropical cyclones. Okay. So this is a simple, I would say, geographical classification of cyclones. Okay. Now, we will only be discussing about tropical cyclone because cyclone Michong is a tropical cyclone which is coming in, I would say, Bay of Bengal region, going to make a landfall today on the eastern coast of India. India is in the tropics, so tropical cyclone it is. Now, tropical cyclone is a weather phenomenon which is formed only over warm ocean waters near the equator. So 27 degrees Celsius is the minimum temperature requirement for any cyclone to get formed. Now, just focus on this pictographic representation which I am going to show it to you. First of all, this is basically a low pressure region. This is surrounded by a high pressure region. You have to imagine that this is sea surface, means water. It is water. Okay. And one simple formula of geography you should know, that if temperature is high, then pressure is low. If temperature is low, then pressure is high. Means we can say that temperature and pressure are inversely proportional. So low pressure over here is caused due to high temperature. High temperature, at least 27 degrees Celsius or more should be there. So this low pressure zone in the center surrounded by high pressure zone. Now it is but natural that the winds will flow from high pressure to low pressure area like this. This is going to be the flow of the direction of flow of wind from high pressure to low pressure. This is quite natural. Winds definitely flow from high pressure to low pressure, or any fluid for that matter flows from high pressure to low pressure. Now, since this cyclone is in the northern hemisphere, since it is coming in India, it is in the northern hemisphere. So, this wind which is blowing from high pressure to low pressure will also be under the influence of Coriolis force. What is Coriolis force? Coriolis force is when the earth is rotating. So, and if you're standing on the earth, obviously you are standing on the earth, you will be experiencing a force due to the rotation of the earth. That force is Coriolis force. The details about this you might be reading in geography optional. But in GS geography, so you will read that Coriolis force is that force which is experienced by the, I would say, objects on earth due to the rotation of the earth. The earth is rotating like this, you are standing over here, you will be experiencing some force. That force is called as Coriolis force. And a thumb rule for Coriolis force is that Coriolis force acts to the right in the northern hemisphere and to the left in southern hemisphere. Coriolis force acts to the right in northern hemisphere, to the left in southern hemisphere. So if I stand on this point, and from here, if I have to experience Coriolis force will be acting in this direction. This is Coriolis force because the right is this direction. Now, if I'm standing over here, okay, Coriolis force at this point will be acting in this direction because the right of this is this. Here, the Coriolis force at this point will be acting in this direction because if I stand here, my right is towards this direction. And over here, if I stand, Coriolis force will be acting in this direction because this is the right of this if I face this center. So this is the direction of Coriolis force. Don't get confused. It is acting in the right direction because we are in the northern hemisphere. The right direction, if I stand here, is this. It is quite understandable. But if you are standing over here and looking here in this direction, then your right is this, where the Coriolis force is active. If you're standing here and looking this way, your right is this. If you're standing here and looking this way, your right is this. So this Coriolis force acting like this. Now, on all these, if I take out the resultant force is this. Resultant means on this particular point, one force is acting, which is the pressure gradient force. Pressure gradient force created due to difference in pressure. High pressure over here, low pressure over here. To this force acting like this. This is called as the pressure gradient force. And on the same point, one Coriolis force is also acting. So the resultant force will come out in this direction, the blue arrow which you can see. This is the resultant force. At this point, the resultant force will be this. At this point, the resultant force will be this. At this point, the resultant force will be this. Now, if you see all the blue arrows, what can you recognize? That, the circulation of the wind will be in anti-clockwise direction because this is anti-clockwise direction. Here, then here, then here, then here. That's like this. This is going to be anti-clockwise. So, cyclones formed in the northern hemisphere will be circulating in the anti-clockwise direction. It will be moving from east to west. Why east to west? Because, see, again, you need to know this concept. This is the earth. This is the equator. This is Tropic of Cancer, Tropic of Capricorn. The winds blowing in this direction are easterly winds. That is, they blow from east to west. So cyclones will also travel from east to west. But a cyclone in the southern hemisphere is going to rotate in clockwise direction. And in the northern hemisphere, it is going to rotate in anti-clockwise direction. One similarity, the cyclones generated in the tropics will be moving from east to west. One difference is cyclones generated in the northern hemisphere in the tropics will be rotating anti-clockwise. Cyclones generated in the southern hemisphere in the tropics will be rotating clockwise, because there in the southern hemisphere, the Coriolis forces will be acting on the left side, not the right side. So these are the basics of cyclones. So let us look into the more details of it. Now, warm, moist air rises up from the ocean surface, creating an area of low pressure at the center. Now, this area of low pressure at the center is created. The image has become a bit messy, but yes, we'll try to connect with it. This is the low pressure created in the center. It causes air from surrounding areas with higher pressure to move towards the low pressure area. This pressure gradient force, which we were talking about, high pressure to low pressure. Okay. Now, if we talk about more of cyclone, let's go to the next slide. This leads to warming up of air and causes it to rise above. So when air is coming in from high pressure to low pressure, obviously it will not come straight. It will be coming like this, like this, like this, anti-clockwise. Okay. So this air, rises above and moves up, forming clouds, and then these clouds cause rain. Now, this continuous supply of water will be there, because since it is there in the ocean, and as soon as this entire system comes and meets the land over here, like it is going to make a landfall over here, somewhere here. So the water supply is cut off, and the cyclone comes to a fall, means cyclone has made a landfall. Cyclone will only be active until the time water supply is given to it. The air from high pressure to low pressure rushing in the low pressure area, making it to rise above. And once it rises above, it takes the moisture along, because water is there, because this is there in the ocean. So this air, when it moves up, it takes along with itself water. And you know, rainfall is there, because rainfall is happening in Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh region right now. Okay. But as soon as the cyclone will make the landfall, this water supply will be cut off. And when then the water supply will be cut off, the rainfall will stop and the cyclone will dissipate. As the air rises and cools, the water in the air forms clouds. The complete system of clouds and wind spins and grows along with the ocean's heat. As the wind rotation speed increases, the eye gets formed in the middle. This is going to be the eye, the one which I have made with extreme yellow. This is basically the eye which has got formed in the middle, this one. So this is how things happen in a cyclone. Features of tropical cyclones, already covered, but yes, a center of a cyclone is very calm and clear with very low air pressure. This is the center, low pressure, and here only the eye gets formed. They have average speeds of around 120 kilometers per hour. They have closed isobars, which lead to greater velocity. What are isobars? Isobars are those, I would say, points which have similar pressure. So this line which I created, high pressure, means a line which has similar pressure throughout. This line has similar pressure throughout, low pressure. They develop over oceans and sea only. They move from east to west under the influence of trade winds, because easterlies, east to west, they are called as trade winds or easterlies. Tropical cyclones will be moving from east to west, whether in northern hemisphere or in southern hemisphere. They are seasonal in nature. So this should be known. Then classification. The Indian Meteorological Department, IMD, has classified cyclones on the basis of wind speed. Depression, wind speeds 31 to 49 kilometers per hour. So it is very minor or minute cyclonic. I would say it is at times referred to as cyclonic depression. Deep depression, when the wind speeds are this much. Cyclonic storms are generally classified with wind speeds when the wind speeds are minimum 62 kilometers per hour. Severe cyclonic storm 89 to 117 kilometers per hour, and the present cyclone Michong is classified as a severe cyclonic storm because the wind speeds are somewhere around 90 to 100 kmph. Very severe cyclonic storm 118 to 167 kilometers per hour. Extremely severe cyclonic storm 168 to 221 kilometers per hour. Super cyclonic storm above 222 kilometers per hour. Now, this is the classification given by the Indian Meteorological Department. So, in newspapers and all, you will see that a severe cyclonic storm, Cyclone Michong, is expected to make landfall on 5th of December. So, you should consider severe means the wind speeds are around 89 to 117 kilometers per hour. That is what severe cyclonic storm means, and this classification should be there in your head. That yes, on the basis of wind speed, the classification is done. Now, this is very important. Naming of cyclones. First of all, Cyclone Michong, Myanmar has suggested the name. Okay. This name means strength and resilience, as simple as that. Now, how is the naming done? We should understand this. Now, there are two aspects, or I would say two bodies we should understand. First is the RSMCs, Regional Specialized Meteorological Centers, means meteorological departments of various countries can be there. So they are 6 in number, and these are under 5 TCWCs. These RSMCs are under TCWCs. TCWCs, Tropical Cyclone Warning Centers. They are 5 in number. Means there is one TCWC who is having 2 RSMCs under it. Rest TCWCs are having 1 RSMC under it. Okay. So TCWCs above and RSMCs below. How many TCWCs in the world? There are 5 TCWCs, Tropical Cyclone Warning Centers, and there are 6 regional, specialized meteorological centers. So let us first look into the Tropical Cyclone Warning Centers, which are these 5 TCWCs. The first is ESCAP, that is Economic and Social Council for Asia Pacific, WMO Typhoon Committee. Okay. It is somewhere near Japan, typhoon, because cyclone is named as typhoon in Japan. Then the second is WMO ESCAP Panel on Tropical Cyclone. This is basically that TCWC which is responsible for naming cyclones in the Indian Ocean region. So this is the TCWC for our region, Indian Ocean region, WMO ESCAP Panel on Tropical Cyclones. And this TCWC will have an RSMC under it, because every TCWC has an RSMC under it. The RSMC which is under this TCWC, that is WMO ESCAP Panel on Tropical Cyclones, is Indian Meteorological Department. Means for this entire region, Indian Ocean region, our meteorological department, Indian Meteorological Department, is acting like a regional specialized meteorological center. So it is like this. Further, we'll look into the details and we'll be able to understand it better. Now, 5 regional tropical cyclone warning centers, 2 of it we have covered: ESCAP, WMO Typhoon Committee, WMO ESCAP Panel on Tropical Cyclones. The other is RA1 Tropical Cyclone Committee, RA4 Hurricane Committee, RA5 Tropical Cyclone Committee. These are the 5 TCWCs. Okay. Now, coming to more details, that is, IMD is one of the 6 RSMCs. IMD is one of the 6 RSMCs. This RSMC, that is IMD, is under WMO ESCAP, WMO Economic and Social Commission for Asia Pacific, Committee for Tropical Cyclones. Now, WMO ESCAP is an intergovernmental regional body jointly established by World Meteorological Organization, United Nations Economic and Social Commission for Asia Pacific in 1972. 13 countries are part of this TCWC, that is WMO ESCAP Tropical Cyclone Committee. These 13 countries: Bangladesh, India, Iran, Maldives, Myanmar, Oman, Pakistan, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Sri Lanka, Thailand, UAE, and Yemen. Now, this is TCWC. WMO is cap, which we covered. WMO is cap, tropical cyclone committee. Under this TCWC is one RSMC. So RSMC is basically Regional Specialized Meteorological Commission, which is India's RSMC. That is India's IMD is considered as RSMC in this under this TCWC. Or we can also understand that India's RSMC is India's meteorological department is the most, I would say, uh, uh, advanced among these 13 countries. That is why it has been chosen as an RSMC under this TCWC. Now they contribute to a set of names which are assigned sequentially within this. Now what will happen? Like last time a cyclone came, Bangladesh gave a name, Biparjoy. Okay. Now Myanmar's turn was it. Okay. So it is not like they have to instantly create names. They have to first submit a list of names. And from that list only, names will be picked up. So every country under this TCWC, that is WMO ISCAP, Committee on Tropical Cyclones, every country, there are 13 members. So every member has given 13 names. So 13 countries, 13 names simply means that 169 names are there under this TCWC. And this is released by IMD, that is Regional Specialized Meteorological Center under this TCWC. And, likewise, like for example, India, Bangladesh, or Myanmar, these are the members under this TCWC. India gave 13 names. Bangladesh gave 13 names. Myanmar gave 13 names. Now, cyclic order it will be done. First, India's name will be chosen. The second cyclone comes, Bangladesh's name will be chosen. Third cyclone comes, Myanmar's name will be chosen. Then, once the list is exhausted, 13 rounds, 13 members are there, like Yemen is there, like UAE is there, like Pakistan is there. Everyone will give 13 names. So once this is chosen, it is complete, then we will come to India's turn. Then second name from India, the second name from the list submitted by India will be kept as the name. So likewise, we have 169 names with us. So 169 cyclones which will come, they will be named, and sequentially every country's, I would say, name will be chosen. So this is how actually the naming of cyclones happen. Now, the second topic, that is Codex Alimentarius Commission. Now this Codex Alimentarius Commission praised India's standards on millets and accepted its proposal for development of global standards for millets. Now India, domestically, it has made standards for millets. Standards for millets includes that, in a particular millet, if I see what variety it is, what I would say quality of millet it is, what is the nutritional aspect of, or nutritional, I would say, quality of that particular millet, everything should be known to it. And according to it, how we come to know about it, because standards has been set by India for domestic production. And now India has proposed Codex Alimentarius Commission that globally there should be standards for millets. India is the largest producer of millets. 2023 is being celebrated as International Year of Millets. Means we want to promote consumption of millets. We want to generate awareness through this, naming it as International Year of Millets. We want to generate awareness among the global citizens that consumption of millets is good. Millets is nutritious. Millets can be considered as an alternate, food apart from wheat and rice. Now, when the G20 summit happened here in India, and the dinners were served or the lunches were served, a lot of millets dishes were served. And India is the largest producer of millets, I've already mentioned. So it has multiple benefits because millets requires semi-arid and arid regions to grow. Rajasthan is one of the biggest producer of millets in the country. And these kind of regions are growing due to climate change. Semi-arid regions are increasing due to climate change. It requires very less water. That will also solve the problem. because agricultural sector uses a lot of water. So it is like this. It is going to benefit everyone in multiple ways. But the challenge is that people do not are not aware about the benefits of millets, and hence they are not consuming millets. But with this kind of campaigns and all, millet consumption can increase and it will be beneficial for the entire world. Now, standards by India. India has framed a comprehensive group of standards of 15 types of millets, specifying 8 quality parameters, which received resounding applause at the international meet. India put forward a proposal for development of global standards for millets, particularly finger millets, barnyard millets, kodo millet, rosso millet, and little millet as group standards, as in the case of pulses. So, pulses standards, global standards have already been there. Now we have proposed that we should make global standards for millets as well. India has made domestic standards for millets. Now about Codex Alimentarius Commission, that is CSE. It is an international food safety and quality standard setting body. It ensures food safety and quality standard setting. That is why we are telling it to set the standards for millets, and it is praising India's efforts to standardize millets. It was created by World Health Organization and Food and Agricultural Organization of United Nations in May 1963. Protecting consumers' health and ensuring fair practices in food trade is the objective of this CSE. It consists of 189 member countries. Is India a member? Definitely, yes. India is a member of this. Membership of the Commission, if I talk about, so the Commission is open to all member nations and associate member of FAO and WHO, which are interested in international food standards. The Commission meets in regular sessions once a year, alternating between Geneva and Rome. And this year's meeting was in Rome. Funding the program of work of the Commission is funded through the regular budgets of WHO and FAO, with all work subject to approval of the two governing bodies. The Commission works in 6 official languages of the UN. Currently, it has standards for sorghum and pearl millet. Now, one task for you guys in the comment section, I would want to hear that 6 official languages of the UN. Which are these 6 official languages? You have to find out, Google it, find it out, mention it in the comment section. I will be replying you over there. So this is to be known. These are some facts UPSC can ask questions upon. Okay. So this is basically all about Codex Alimentarius Commission, millets, a brief about millets I have given you. And this is it from today's session. I will be meeting you tomorrow now with more such informative news pieces. Till then, you guys very well know what to do. Keep studying, keep reading, keep writing, and most importantly, keep revising. Namaste. Jai Hind.